All right, welcome everyone. This is class number 3, I think, of Sacred Geometry Drawing with PCC. All right, Greta says class number 3. And we are going to build on Metatron's cube. Last week, we did the actual cube through the seed, kind of the beginner process, and we drew 4 of the platonic solids. We drew 3 and then 1 kind of disappears into it, but we had all 4 and we need to do the dodecahedron. We need to make it complete. So tonight we're going to do the shortcut into Metatron's cube and then add the couple of lines that make the dodecahedron. And then we're going to start the process of the flower of life. We're going to see how the second half goes. This is one of those classes where I'm just kind of reading the room and seeing how we do. So there's a little bit of flexibility about the second half of the class. So let's drop in, shall we? Let's give ourselves a moment. We'll do some check-ins and hellos and shares if people were drawing this week. But before we get to that, let's drop in, bring our attention inward, closing your eyes if that's comfortable, and focusing on your breath. Taking some nice, deep belly breaths in through your nose and releasing out through your mouth, letting yourself settle into the chair. Connecting with your body. Letting go of the day, making some spaciousness in your system with every breath. And in that spaciousness, choosing how you would like to move forward, choosing the mindset, perhaps adopting a receptive perspective. As we breathe in to receive and breathe out to become more present. Simultaneously relaxing and invigorating. Taking a nice deep breath into your heart, feeling a sense of gratitude to be able to have this experience. Finding a deeper feeling of gratitude for this human experience. Showing up on the planet at this time, showing up in this solar system, remembering your participation in a galaxy and a galactic consciousness. And dipping into that consciousness of yourself as an infinite being, far beyond this third dimension and this mental, physical, emotional incarnation. Just breathe into the hugeness that you are. Anchoring it in the body, and when you're ready, breathing your eyes gently open to connect with each other. For the next 2 hours, what is time even? Here we go. All right. So it is such a pleasure to be with you all. I want to apologize. It's a silly apology, but my background is kind of tilted. It's like I drew that. It's a Sri yantra, right? I drew this piece and then somehow here you go. Somehow on the wall, it's kind of drooping and I haven't fixed it yet. So it's just back there. It's hanging out. It's blasting positive vibes towards us, but it's kind of driving me nuts. So if I hadn't said anything, you might not have noticed, but I'll fix it by next time. So let's have a little hello. I'd love to just hear everybody's voice, even if it's just to say hello. I barely showed up today. Hello, I barely showed up today. And otherwise, if you want to share like epiphanies or realizations that perhaps the geometry is inspiring. No requirements, no pressure. I just like to hear everybody's voice before we move through, because this really is a collective experience. We really enrich the learning by seeing what everybody's doing and just sharing in that sharing in the journey, right? So would anybody like to start us off? I'm recording. Everything is all right. And Zabby, is that 2 hands up for me?
2 hands up.
All right. Hi there.
Wow. So just, going with the theme of just sacred geometry is just, I notice it's absolutely in everything. Like, street signs and trees and the molecular makeup of crystals and just, it's super interesting. And yet again, taking this class, I'm seeing all the times like 11:11, 12:12.
Yep.
An hour later, it's 2:22, and I'm just like, what is going on? The universe is like talking, and I know it's just a clock, but it's significant to me because it lets me know that I'm on the right track. And when I don't see those numbers, I begin to feel a little bit like lost in the world. This week, I've been drawing.
Yeah.
And I drew this.
Okay, I'm ready. Oh, yes. Oh, look at this. Now don't move it away fast. Just hold it there. So tell us about it. Wow.
So it's Metatron's cube with the sunflower overlaid. I could not get rid of the indents from the compass of the flower. So I just decided to go with it and cover it, with colored pencils. And then this here is this weird thing where you connect the dots, and it's just, I build the triangle.
Oh, yeah.
Outside inward, and I erased the lines as I went and colored in with colored pencil. And then I didn't know where to go next, so I just continued the flower of life around it.
Yeah.
And it's taken me a whole week to do, and it's been really meditative to do this. I really don't know anything about shading, and that is something that I would like to get a grasp on so that I can make it all look pretty and shaded.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Wow, beautiful. I love how dark you can go with the colored pencils. I usually give up, but that takes a couple of turns. So beautiful.
They're the same colored pencils from last year. I just opened up the pencil case again. It's been really inspiring to be here again in class.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm so glad it's opening up the synchronicities, right? Like for me, that is a result. That's my belief, is that we are bringing our systems into alignment, right? The geometry is so harmonious that we start to line up, and then we can hear and see and experience, higher states of consciousness. And they come in through little signs like that. So thank you for sharing. You know what I love also is that you came back again and again to the piece, right? It's so fun to kind of take little nibbles at it and see how it evolves. So I love that. That is just super cool. And I will share, maybe in the email, I'll share a hugely shaded piece that I made that you can then try and kind of model after a big old 64 star tetrahedron, which was dimensionally fun with, yeah. All right, cool. Thanks for starting us off. Who would like to go next? Let's see. No pressure. Well, a little pressure. Leanne, hi there.
Hi. I'm with Gabby. I'm supposed to be here. I'm just having a great time coming back. I focused on Metatron's cube this week, and it took me a while. It was my favorite. I've done it before, but this time it wasn't my favorite. It took me quite a while to kind of get into the groove. But I finally made it. I think I like the shortcut better for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I could keep things more in alignment.
Oh yeah, look at that. Right.
One of the things that I couldn't quite figure out. This one's a little wonky, but that's okay. One of the things that I felt imbalanced about is I needed darker circles.
Oh yeah.
I had real light circles, and I was like, this is not feeling good. I tried pencils, I tried pens, all of those things. And I'm still listening to my chakra frequencies on my dog walks and all of the other things. And I did watch just a snippet, I didn't have a lot of time, of your crop circle YouTube. So go naughty. I love it.
Oh, Leanne, that is so great. Yeah, I've, anywhere all the time, I'll talk about all this stuff. So I just love your observation process, right? Like, I didn't really like the circles, kind of tuning into what feels good and then having the geometry and the frequency music all the time. Yeah, I love it. I love your listening and your reflections. Thank you so much. And Amy says hello. Amy took this class a little, I don't know, a year or so ago. So they met on that line. All right. Who wants to jump in? Please, if you haven't even thought about geometry, it's totally fine. I'd just like to hear from everybody and say hi. So however you'd like to jump in. Oh, we've got a handsome kitty cat. Ben, are you off mute because you want to share?
I was going to go next. Yes.
Awesome.
Hello, everyone. I missed last week's class. Was out camping with my family for my son's 13th birthday.
Yeah.
Did not get a chance to review the recording, though I was grateful to have it. And I'm trying to catch up right now.
Yeah. I don't know. How many children? Do you have like 2 children? Yeah. I don't know why you haven't had time to do anything. Oh my
Three
God.
kids.
3 kids.
Plus
Oh my God.
plus this one.
Plus this one. Yeah. Wow. It's impressive that you signed up and that you're keeping up. And Metatron's is built into today. So you'll definitely get the experience. Yeah. Awesome. Glad you're here. All right. Who is next? Corey, yeah. Yeah, go for it.
I missed the first 2 classes, but I'm glad that I could make this one. I'm doing the video tutorial and I'm almost caught up, but not quite. So I'm trying not to slow everybody down, but I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad you made it. One of the things you would have missed in the classes is that there is no such thing as slowing anybody down. Like, the amazing part of this class is that it works because at any point, if we're walking someone through a step and other people have gotten to it already, this is a meditative practice, right? This is an opportunity to breathe more. This is an opportunity to align with that perfect harmony. And so, there's no really such thing as time or slowing anyone down. It's just one opportunity after another. At baseline, it's an opportunity to not pick up your phone for 2 hours. Just don't do it. All right. Thanks, Kaori. So glad am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Kaori? Okay, great. Nice to have you here. Okay, good. All right. We have 2. Greta, you jumped in too. Hi there.
I'll go. So I
Okay,
did
All right.
that, which I only did 6 of the points, but I did 6 different colors, and I did over the sunflower. So I was happy with that.
There's so much in there. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah. Some things I tried didn't work out so well, and other things I did work. But I did that.
Wow, yeah.
Megatron, and I like the colors on that. And then I did the
Woo!
I did the pencils on the flower.
Oh my gosh. Oh, love the colors. Love
Thanks.
the colors. That's tight work too. You did some small ones there, so that gets intricate.
Yeah, but it was just kind of time to do the small stuff was fine. So
Yeah. And you had that one sacred geometry drawing class. Like, is this feeling related? Are you going kind of next level with what you already learned, or how's it feeling with that?
it's not really next level. I mean, it's like it all kind of is vaguely familiar, like the seed of some of the things that you've shown have been really familiar, but yeah, it's just been fun to do. And I was a little wound up, and so it's fun to get out the old compass and go for it,
Yeah. Yeah. And just to clarify, by next level, meaning like your ability to kind of go into new depths with it, right? Same info, but since it's familiar, like, oh, I recognize maybe new openings are happening.
Well, I'm doing different things with the colors. I mean, I think there's a comfort level there, and there's still pieces about kind of how it fits with the geometry and stuff that is still not really very clear, but it's really interesting. So I like that.
Well, those are beautiful. Thank you. And I love that you share them with me in email. If anybody ever wants to email me, please do. I love seeing everyone's art. So we got a few more. Who's next? Hi, July.
Hello.
Hi.
So last week I had to leave early, so I watched the video recording. Wow, I'm so red. So I am not in hell. I can promise you all that. So yeah, so I did the drawing just to do it. Wow, it's all kinds of different colors. And what I noticed that was kind of interesting, because I watched the video and I didn't see it live, is that when everybody was showing their drawings, like I just did, I noticed that some of the different the different platonic solids like stood out in people's drawings, so which is very cool, because I ended up watching this YouTube video where there was no audio, or well, there was audio, but it wasn't a lecture or anything. It was just a video with a visual showing all the different shapes and how they look three-dimensionally within the cube, and they all the different elements that you mentioned. So that's kind of cool. I don't know, maybe people's elements are showing through somehow in the way that they're drawing their cube. Just kind of interesting to think about. And yeah, it's just very curious, because I mean, the Metatron's cube, from what I'm understanding, it's basically like, I mean, literally a blueprint showing all of these different perfect shapes that go within it. So yeah, it's kind of amazing. I haven't really been noticing it in real life, so I'm curious to, I hope I can see that.
Awesome. Yeah, well, it's only class number 3, so there's plenty of opportunity for it to start opening up. Oh, there you're back to a regular color. Yeah, but blueprint, template, absolutely. And then what I love is everybody's geometry, even though it's the same shape, everybody's is so unique, whether it's the color choice or the points or the focus of the platonic solids. Yeah. And what does that mean? Like, is it their chakra, which one of our ones lit up, or is it, the elements? I mean, there's just layer after layer that we're only just discovering, And one last thing is, there's so much reason to do these classes together, and, the richness of the sort of information. Part of me goes, oh, somebody could just watch a YouTube video. No way. It is so different to have the info, but also I've noticed that a lot of times people will draw a step that if you don't have a familiarity with what they're doing, it loses you, right? Like if they just assume that to put a circle here and how wide it would be, it can get confusing. So I love the context, But I'm so glad you're looking into it, and lovely that you drew that. Glad to have you back. And all right, we got Joni and Joy, and Joni's jumping in, and Carol. Yeah. All right,
I'll
Joni.
So yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling to connect still with the Metatron's cube.
Yeah.
But I did, go back and color the first one, the flower or the seed. And I felt good about doing that. So here's that one.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Wait, let me do the unblurred, I guess. Stop video.
Oh, my goodness. Those are some beautiful color choices.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. How was it?
Oh, I enjoyed it. My pencils were nice and soft, and it gives a lot of texture. And I did, instead of dividing it by 6s, or 12s or 2, I divided it by 4 and 3. And I don't know what I'm talking about by dividing, but that is so that one resonated more for me. And I'm still trying to connect with the Metatron's cube. I'm not really there yet, so we'll see how tonight goes. I'm feeling very tense and fragmented, so not about this. I'm happy to be here for this, but life, and so I'm looking forward to spinning the compass.
It's the international symbol for the drawing sacred geometry. I think was it last week you were feeling better by the end of the class? I see that. I think it was last week. Yeah, for you.
Yeah, I go straight from work to here, or whatever little chore or duty I have to do in the few minutes I get between work and this, and so yeah, I'm usually pretty wound up.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And it's really amazing that any of us make it here, given life, you know. So I really appreciate that, commend the effort, and hope that we can focus on the geometry for long enough that that stuff goes away and you're doing lighter in the end. I had
Looking forward
someone,
to it.
yeah, me too. I had someone, I teach here in Sedona on Mondays. And this one woman, she just came in like, oh, it was so bad. It was just like, oh my God, I can't even be here. And by the end of the class, she was like, oh, I feel so much better. And it's not a guarantee, but it is a good opportunity.
The way I was last week was like I kept up with the Metatron's cube, then I kept finding myself just enjoying the coloring of the seed or the flower. I can't remember. What is that? The complete thing is the flower, the sunflower?
The 7 circles, so the 6 circles is the seed, and then the larger one that you did is the sunflower.
Okay.
Also known as the toroidal field and our electromagnetic, our electromagnetic field. So 2D, 3D. All right, glad you're here. Thank you. It's good to see you. And we've got Carol and Joy. Carol, you're off mute. Why don't you go for it?
Well, this is really the first time I've shown up for any length of time, and I probably won't stay again.
Okay.
And if I'm not looking at the screen, it's hard on my eyes. So, but I have.
Would you rather be smaller? Sorry. Okay.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
I watched the recordings, and those were really valuable. I could kind of break it up a little and do it at my leisure. And nothing special. I just, actually I don't like, I just did the frames. I didn't do any coloring in, and I don't see myself as someone who even likes coloring.
Yep.
But I was pretty blown away by the examples that a couple of you have shown. Sabbaths, I think yesterday from the previous weeks with the greens, and it was so glossy. I was just so impressed by the meticulous perfection and just the beautiful color choices. I guess that's it. I really like doing Metatron's cube. I'm amazed by, I love the idea of all the shapes being in there and having that kind of optical illusion isn't exactly the word, but where you focus and you see one and then another comes out. And I just wish I knew more about how all that works, the geometry of it all and the math of it. Because it's fascinating. So, and just a question, was there a particular, so other than the sunflower, the name of the one we did the first week, it's just called the sunflower, or you said something else?
The 2D version, it's just kind of like the easy version to call it the sunflower, right? Because it has that, it has that phi spiral in it. But the toroidal field, right? Like if you were to make that into a 3D version, it's TOROIDAL, toroidal. And it's it's an attempt to capture the energetics that surround us, that cycle in and return in, and like the conversation with the universe of how we exchange intelligence and information.
Okay. And then the second one we did?
Which one? The pointy one?
The which?
The 12 pointed star as well?
Yes, that we poked through from the sunflower to get.
Poked through. Yep, that's the dodecagon.
It was a dodecahedron. So maybe that's just, it's called dodecahedron.
Nope, that one's called the dodecagon. So it's a 12-sided polygon, right? Tonight is the dodecahedron.
Oh, dodecagon. Okay,
yeah.
Not hedron.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but your dodec is right. So that was a 12-sided polygon, and the dodecahedron is 12 pentagonal faces, 12 pentagons for the shape. Okay, great. And you're speaking to the fact that this is an intro class, and it is so fascinating, and there is so much more. So please, hopefully that's just what's your whistle to go find more in the math and all of the cool stuff. It's an infinitely fascinating study. So yeah, great to have you for however long you're here. And then Joy, how you doing? I think you're going to wind everything up here. You're still muted though. There you go. It's all right.
I'm much better when I'm doing the video. So what I plan to do is just kind of watch you and then actually do the work from the video, because I don't do two things at once very well. But came out with it.
Oh yeah, look, it's right on. Oh, beautiful.
Couple of things that you said that really helped. One is it's really interesting to take a picture of it. Which you mentioned, and it looks entirely different almost. Things stand out and stuff. I like that. And also precision being important. And I did a couple of them, and the second one I was more meticulous, and it works a lot better. So again, not being too fast, I think really helps and makes a difference for me. So.
Oh, completely. For everyone, right? Like that, slowing down the process. There is so much of a meta message in there, right? Like, how precise do we put our focus, right? And brilliance. I love your share. I'm so glad you kept at it, and that you just, had an observation about your process, and then what works for you. So that's so great. Thank you. Yeah. And please, everybody, do take a picture of them. It is really fascinating how different it looks when you do that with your camera. So yeah. Were you all set though? You're still off mute. Did I cut you off? I don't want to cut you off.
No. Okay,
you're all set. Okay, great. So we're gonna do a quick review of the Metatron's cube, not the whole cube, but of the dodecahedron, right? Because this really is this is the stuff that mystery schools are made of, because you have to know 6 separate lines. You have to know where to add them in. Now, what we're going to do is this is a little it gets a little scrambly, right? So prepare for the scramble, and we're going to embrace the scramble, because we're going to do Metatrons again, right? We're going to have some muscle memory. We're going to be able to recognize the patterns. We're going to go in the shortcut way, right? So that it's cleaner on the inside. And we're going to draw all of the lines that we drew last week. We're not going to use any color. We're just drawing the foundation for the dodecahedron, and we will draw the dodecahedron in a color to really make it pop. And I will send you the PDF. So we're going to jump in. And remember that, I think I'll just say this and then we'll get into the slideshow. The dodecahedron being the element of ether, right? And energy and chi and prana. And, as you're drawing at home or whenever, there's that sort of that awareness of your process, right? That's in our 10% conscious mind, but in that 90% of our subconscious mind, there are elements coming on board. And that's kind of what Zabby was talking about, is we see it sort of shows up in all the little magical synchronicities, but that's our best indication that things are turning on, that element of space, right? The infinite potential of space, right? We're opening up possibilities of things that have not been accessible to us before. So I'll just do a tiny review. I got a little PowerPoint, and then we will get into the drawing. I'm going to give us plenty of time for that. Oh, not that one, this one, right? So just starting from the fancy pants front page. So right, there we go. Dodecahedron is it 10 faces? Is it 12 faces? It should be 12 faces if it's dodec. So it's 12 faces of pentagons. Right, so we're going to be drawing a bunch of pentagons today. So that really connects us with fivefold geometries, right? And that is a whole other conversation. But they pack infinitely together. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that, because I have this really cool little video. Here's the relationship to the flower of life and the seed of life, and how the coordinates for the dodecahedron are embedded in the flower of life. Because of course, Metatron's cube is contained within the flower of life, right? And I'm throwing around a lot of terms, and again, we'll slowly pick up on the information. It'll integrate, and then it'll become a little more familiar. But don't worry if it's a lot of jargon right now. this is just another example. Zabby, here you go with some shading, and just how you can choose the different shapes, obviously highlighting the dodecahedron here. But this is really one of the fundamentally three-dimensional shapes. It's so fun. And I don't want to presume that it's fun. Joy, your point about precision, another point of it is that the more you slow down on this and take a moment with each compass point or, ruler line, it's just going to be a little bit tighter. You're going to see the dimensionality a little bit. So I want to support us in taking a little bit more time to find this geometry. And there, like Carol, I think Carol, we were saying, it's like, this is just an example of how much information is in Metatron's cube, right? You can see the 13 circles in the background. And perhaps you've heard of the saying that, Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, look into the power of the numbers 3, 6, and 9, right? So here you've got in the outer 6 rings, you've got the 3s, the 6s, and the 9s, right? That's its own fundamental pattern. We'll look a little bit at that later on. And then the other thing is 1s, 2s, 5, 8s, and 4s, and 7s are also their own gateway into understanding our construct, right? The human cosmology, right? It's got a geometry that underlies it. And you've got 3 different tetrahedrons. So you've got star tetrahedrons in different, what's the word? Axis, right? 3 different angles. And then you can kind of see the dodecahedron in there in the pink, right? So it's all, this is just to say, oh my gosh, there's so much in there. We can't possibly touch it all, but we're going to hint at it. And then this is a stellated dodecahedron. So you can see the one looking head on at us. That's a 5-sided star. And then that's all of the 12 faces are stellated, right? So this is one thing you can do. You can actually draw this as well. I used to love stellating geometries. So this is, just a fun little part of the shape amount, iteration. And I think I showed this last time, but this is the space. This is the time travel device that's in the movie Contact, right? And the reason I show this again is because the dodecahedron, all of the platonic solids are hidden in plain sight, right? And so you can go back and look at this and go, gosh, the dodec is the platonic solid that represents space, right? Energy, prana. And here's a dodecahedron encapsulating the sphere that is the time travel, that is the time-space travel device, right? So all of these ways that it's woven into our psyche, and some of these slides are just from last time, right? But there's these obvious and not so obvious ways that we have this element, sort of sadly, here's all the subconscious ways, right? Versus being able to access it consciously and, really understand that there are 5 elements and not 4. So some of the, interesting things start to reveal themselves, like, why would this happen? It is unique in that regard. And just again, like when we talked about with the seed in the first class, like bringing the subconscious into the conscious, and then you are accessing more, that's more empowering when you're starting to notice how it's being used to influence us, right? So this is a fun little shape. The music is a little ridiculous and it'll stop halfway through, but this is so fun to watch. So we're just going to see, this is a hyperdodecahedron, and this is an illustration of how they pack in the universe. And I think I have to take my headset out for you to hear it. Okay, oopsies, look at that. Sorry about that. I'm going to get right into it after this.
If you're open to a suggestion, when you share your screen, there's a checkbox that says share computer audio.
Yeah. Are you hearing the audio?
No.
No, it's okay. It's terrible. So the audio checkbox, usually I have that. Let me try this. That, are you hearing that? Okay, it's really okay. It's this terrible piano piece, so we'll just watch it. You know how with the Metatron's cube in in the slides last week, they held one, a 3D, and shone the light through it and the shadow on the wall, you could see the 2D, right? So shining the lights down through the geometries is another way to see so kind of a 3D suggestion through the 2D, right? Oh God, this music is so bad. Like, it's really okay that oh God, like a terrible electronic piano. Oh, there we go. Then it stops. So this is the packing of the dodecahedron, right? This is how they pack together in that perfect alignment, right? Because that's kind of part of the genius of the geometry, right? This larger picture of how, you know. And this is online, so I will send you the link so that you can watch this again, because it's just outrageous. You know, just really scratching the surface. I mean, we're not getting into the mathematics. We're not, you know, we don't get to color in the classes. We don't expand out into the cosmological or the quantum where, you know, the geometries can be scaled to, but we can see things like this, which is just extraordinary, you know, in a fun way to, you know, contemplate how complex they are, really. So, like I said, that is just a tiny overview to remind us of the dodecahedron. And we'll just get right into drawing. Does anybody have thoughts or reflections or questions about it, about the dodecahedron? No? All right. So we're going to be drawing the same way we did last time. We're going to do the drawing on the landscape orientation, right? So nice and wide in front of us. And you want to go ahead and measure to the center, right? On the vertical axis, right? 5.5 on the vertical. We're not at risk for going off the page to the left or right. So it's really only top to bottom that you want to find the 5.5 mark. You can guesstimate the middle on the horizontal, but find your 5.5 points and darken that in a little bit. All right, that's right. We're doing the shortcut. I have to think about it. And the width of our compass is going to be the same, right? It's going to be 1 inch, and that's gonna, we can stay on the paper that way. So we are doing the shortcut. Let me open this up. Everybody got 1 inch, found your center points. All right, looking good. So some people mentioned drawing the circles dark, drawing them light. Choose your comfort level, right? If you do the circles on the light side, then the geometry will pop a little bit more, but it's all fine. Like, don't worry about whatever pressure or darkness, because it's all really cool. So just to mention that. There we go. There we go. All right. So first circle, center of the page. There you go. 1 inch width, 2 inch diameter. And then just like with the seed, you're going to ballpark the bottom of the circle, right? Mine are always a little bit tilted. Don't worry about precision on this, on the positioning. Just compass point in the bottom, but then you can see you only want a half of an arc, right? All we're going for are these intersection points here, right? That's how we're finding the next compass point. So you just need that half arc that's actually going to get erased, right? And then you can use these 2 points. You've now created 2 points. That's all we need for a line. So there you go, with a vertical line through the circle. And you want that line to be 9 inches, just like last time. And then the 4.5 mark, right? The middle mark of that 9 inches is going to align with the center point of your circle. So we're just recreating that same measurements, the same measurements as before, just going in a little differently. And I can't remember who went in this way and who likes the seed in this, you know, but this will give us a different experience from last week. So 9 inches, now we've got our third compass point, which is up here at the top. You're going to put the compass at the intersection, and you're going to create another half arc, right? Nice and light, because they're going to get erased. And all you want really are these intersection points. Okay. And once you've got them, you can go ahead and darken them in. You want to darken in that top intersection point, the 2 on the right, the bottom intersection point, and the 2 on the left. And I'll give us a nice breathing break. I don't want to be going too fast. Remember to jump in with your voice if I am, because I can only see 4 of you in the gallery view. So I won't come off mute and say something if you're wanting a little more time. Because my only indication of how everybody's doing is when heads are up or down.
I appreciated you just saying that the only thing we really need is where that half circle intersects. I kept drawing the whole thing, and I'm like, I don't need to draw the whole thing. I can just mark where the intersections are. That's all I really want.
That's all you really want. And, you know, as you get more pro, you don't even need the half circle. You can just make little dents with your compass, right? You just where those cross sections goes. But that's a little bit, you know, that comes later down the class. So with those 6 points, right, top and bottom, and the 2 right and left, and then you can go ahead and erase the arcs, right? And all you want are, sorry, it's these 6 lines. You want those 6 points because we're doing this, right? We're gonna do those 2, the 2 additional 9-inch lines. They're gonna go on the right and left diagonal. And you're gonna use, this is a great place to practice some precision, because I think it's harder to go into, I think it's harder to get precise going into the shape this way. That might be untrue, but you want to use the 2 different lines, the 2 lines opposite. We're going to bisect the shape, and it's the same thing. It's that 9-inch line, and the 4.5-inch mark is going to line up right with that center point of the circle. And as you're drawing those lines, taking a nice deep breath, because, you know, we get a lot of focus here, a lot of mental focus, and we want to make sure that our systems are relaxed as we do this to the best of our ability. And last time with Metatron's cube, we used a single, in one of the steps, we used the technique of putting the pencil point down first, right? That was the outer ring. This time, I'm just going to look for a little bit, couple more heads up, because I can't see everybody. Okay, looks like some heads are up. Great. Do jump in if I'm moving too fast. Okay, so we are going to use that technique, right? We used it on the last ring before. Now we're going to use it on this inner ring, right? So compass point is going to go at that intersection of the circle and the vertical line. We'll do the vertical line first. And then the compass point falls on the line right above it. And then that gives you this single floating circle there. Right? So pencil point right at that intersection. The geometry is always showing us where to go. And then the compass point falls above it on the line. And you get that single circle. And then we're just going to do that 5 more times. Okay. So that's going to look like this. Wow, that just got really big. And at this point, the likelihood of your circles touching perfectly is not high. Like you can see mine up here, they kind of overlap. So play around, see if you can make the circles touch perfectly by, shifting the compass point, but that's at a later time. Just know that the circles connecting points are likely to be a little off. So again, practicing the art of surrender with imperfection, right? Because that's just how that's the easiest way to show up in this life, because it's just messy. A lot of the times it's just messy. So, you can practice just this tiny version of surrender, enhance that template that we have for the rest of life. And the next time something is just completely out of our control and not turning out the way we want to, we'll go, oh, the teachings of Metatron. All right. So we're getting them. How's it feeling? Is it coming? It's getting a little easier after the 3rd week, maybe just a little bit more. Although Teori, this is only the first week. How's it feeling? Are you doing okay? Have you been able to practice? Oh, hang on a second. Let me come on a screen share. Are you getting it? Will you hold those up again?
Yeah, I practiced the video and yeah.
Oh my goodness, rock star. All right. Okay, awesome. Seeing some heads nod. Okay, it's looking good. All right, we need another minute. Still some compasses going. Yeah, Ben, you got it? Oh, you're on blur. You got it. Okay, good. Thumbs up. All right, here we go. So we're gonna do that same step, only the next outer ring, right? So it's exactly the same. Compass point's gonna go at that intersection of the line and the outer circle. And then your compass point is going to fall on the line. And it might be a little over, it might be a little bit under, but you'll get the general idea. And you'll get that single standing circle that you recognize from the first Metatrons that we did. Get that single circle out there, and you're going to do it 5 more times. And that's going to give us the 13 circles that looks and feels pretty different than the original. So, you know, we did the first one. This becomes a little bit more familiar, but also just in general, as we go along, the practice really does make it easier and easier. And just like life, right? So, you know, repetition and breathing, taking a nice deep breath, right? I'm learning more and more to incorporate breath work with the geometry. It just deepens the experience so much, so much. I have a colleague who is really advanced in her breath work and guiding meditations, and I might have mentioned this last time, but we did a 3-hour workshop at first, and then it was so fun that we did a 5-hour workshop of synchronizing breath work with drawing of Metatrons. And then she would open up and channel Metatron consciousness. No, it's just been really amazing. So we're starting out here with so much potential. Once you get all 5 circles, you want to clean up the bits, right? You remember this from last time. So erase any bits that extend past those outer center points. Extend the line to the center point if it's short, and then darken in the center points, right? On all 12 circles, right? You can find them again with the compass point, but darken them in, because just like last time, those are going to be our origin points for all of the solids. Right? Most of the time it involves erasing a little bit past the center points on the outer circles, just to tighten everything up. Looks like everybody's doing great. It really is, you know, Joy, to speak to your process. There's just an inherent pressure to drawing with other people's paces, you know, and so on the one hand, it's so important to be able to share the geometry and all of the transformation that can happen. But yeah, that is the cost, you know, that it's there's that pressure, and then you can go back and have like a more laid back experience and have that familiarity. All right, looks like heads are back. And remember, we're not doing color in this point. We're going to pick a color for the dodecahedron, and that's it. This is going to give us our template underneath. All right, still got a couple more heads down. Wait just another minute.
Supposed to put the
sorry, Joy?
You said we had to put darker dots somewhere?
Just darken in the center points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not to add anything, but we're going to reference those center points. So yeah. In all 12, right? The outer 12, you don't have to do it for that center point. All right. Looking good. Okay, any other questions? Anybody need another minute? Yeah, okay. And you know, of course, if I'm moving too slow for everyone, just that sitting with the symmetry of this, oh, it's just extraordinary. I'm just so happy to see it every time. So, all right, hexagons, right? We're familiar with this one. Using only the pencil. We're not using color. Go for the hexagons here. You're going 2 6-sided polygons. You don't need to darken in the center lines this time. Just do the outer hexagon and the inner hexagon. I think you know, oh, I think Carol, you mentioned it. I don't know, but if somebody mentions not drawing in, like not coloring the shapes, right? And in my arts career, my career as an artist, I can't draw anything in either. It is a rare occasion where I could do something like Zabby's pieces because I don't have the patience. It closes in the dimensionality a little bit for me. But the reason I'm bringing up is because the hexagon stage and then also the tetrahedron stage, really, really great mandala type framework for art, right? Nice and spaciousness, really cool patterns. And so I tend to stop there when I am going to do any kind of artwork because the patterns are more obvious and easy to draw in color. Yeah, so yeah.
I can't remember how you got the inner hexagons because, well, I didn't go out of my way to, I mean, there's compass points. So if I shut my eyes and feel, maybe I can feel the dot where the compass was, but how you can tell that center of the inner circles.
Right. You can simply put your compass points on the outer ring of that inner circle, and it'll show you right where the compass point goes. It'll show you right where the center is. If you put the compass point on the outside of the circle, and then the compass will fall right into the center. But it is a good idea to darken it. Otherwise, you can see it's a little harder to find it. Did that make sense? Did that? Yeah, that's going to help finding the inner one. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, because if you don't highlight the points, you definitely want to do that because that goes back to Joy's piece about precision. And we'll get as close as we can. And the cool part is that most often we can get the geometry, even if we go off the page with the circles, anything like that. And, you know, again, this is a really fun spot. If we're waiting for some folks to find the shape, you can play with perceptual capacity, right? Go back and forth looking at that cube. And at one point, you're going to see a larger outer cube with an indentation of a cube. And then at other times, you're going to see an inside box with a sugar cube sticking out of it, right? So it goes back and forth. And this is a great trip. This is great neuroplasticity, right? You are opening up your ability for perceptual expansion, right? So it seems really simple, but there's a lot going on. So Carol, did you get that inner circle, the inner hexagon?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So maybe some of you have gone ahead. We're doing the tetrahedrons now. And you only need the outer large one. You do not need the inner small one. So just doing that outer downward facing triangle and upward facing triangle. Not doing the inner one. That'll complexify if we do that one. Sure. Did I do that? Let me see. Actually, hang on a second. Just feel like if we skip it, it's going to be problematic. At the same time, I really don't think we need it. That. Let's skip it. And if we regret it later, we can go back and pull it in. All right. So how we got the two triangles. Thumbs up. Okay. Another minute. Let me just stare at this thing and just make sure we don't, because everything else creates a point because we've got the hexagon and we only need the points. And then we need that point, but that's going to come from that. And we need that point, but that's going to come from that. Cool. Let's do this. It'll be an experiment. All right. Looks like we've got those two. All right. All set. Most everybody. All right. Excellent. There's our Merkaba, right? Firing up our light body, just reminding our subconscious that we know our geometric structure. All right. Got that. Got a couple of heads down still. I don't want to rush anybody. Okay. Good. All right. Looks like we got most of us on board. Anybody need another minute? If you do, all right. Shout out. Nope, we're good. One more minute. You got it. Yep. And you know, here we're doing all of this, you know, technique and structure. And I just keep saying this again and again. Take a moment when we have a pause and breathe, like feel, like see, like do a little inventory. See if you can feel anything. See if you can check out what your brain feels like as we've got this symmetry building, right? This is a hemisphere alignment. This is a lot. I keep saying a lot is going on. But the more you breathe into this shape, remember we're talking about a level of consciousness that can access the Akashic records. Like, how does that mean? How is it possible that we could, by drawing the shape, that we could be tapping into the records of all that was, all that is, and all that ever will be? Right? That doesn't fathom. All right, thumbs up. We got it. Just taking a breath to the infinite potential, right? So what we're going to do now, that third step, remember, we're going to come from the outside down and across and in. I have a feeling that we do want the star, but because it's in here, but I don't think we do actually. So from the outside top, down and across to the inner hexagon point, right? We've got these hexagonal points. We drew those on the inside. So you're going to start on the outside. You're going to come down and across. It's easy to start at the top, so I recommend doing that. Down and into the inside, down here is the hexagon point, right? So it's going to look like from up here, I'll show you up here. You're going to start at the top and then come in down and across to this hexagon point, right? And then starting at the top on the other side, down and across to this inner hexagon point, right? And then of course, we're going to do that 5 more times. So this is, you know, this is the more complex shape. I'm just going to double check that we don't need those. Those are created that way. Those are created that way. Those are created that way. Pretty sure we don't need it, but it is in here. So yours will look a little cleaner. And you know, the thing is when we first learned the dodecahedron, right? All of these lines, just super overwhelming, couldn't possibly practice adding more lines and focusing the way we will need to focus now. But you are bringing so much of your abilities. What do we use? Like, it's that staggering statistic as well that we use like 10% of our brain, right? And we write the other half off to junk DNA. Like, what? No, what is happening here? I don't know why I signed up for this gig. So, all right. And now we are aware that we are focusing so intently that the rest of life falls away and none of it really matters because we've signed ourselves up for a sacred geometry class where we're tapping into our greater consciousness, tapping into the largerness of who we are. Can't remember where that 64 is. Let me see, I'm gonna bring something up while you guys are, no, I can't because you'll see my screen. All right, I wonder where that is. So I'm looking, Joni, how's it feel? I'm looking back to see everybody sits back. Thumbs up. All right, Zabby, you're looking solid. All right, thumbs up. Anybody needs, we got July. All right, Leanne, I still got, you need another second? Okay, one more second. Yeah. All right, heads are up, awesome. Ben, you good? All right, awesome. So, let me get Leanne right in there. All right, you good? Thumbs up. Leanne, okay, awesome. Okay, here's where we go adding the lines. So pick a color, do that intuitive draw, pick something, pick a nice bright color, don't pick yellow. Nice, sharp, if you want to sharpen it, awesome. But choose from how you're feeling, choose the color, choose your chakra alignment, which, you know, just do it in that intuitive way, or you can do the reach in and pick a color and all the magic that comes from that. All right, I think the first step is possibly the trickiest, okay? So we've got those colors. Now, these are the 6 lines that we're going to add. All right, I'm just going to show you, and then we're going to do it. So right here, we've got these inner lines that we drew. So we've got this diamond here, and where it's located, you can use the divots of the inner circles, right? I'm going to show you on the next slide. So what, look, try to find these diamonds in the, and they're marked by the inner circles. All right, looks like some heads are happening there. So we're going to just draw nice sharp lines through those diamonds. So connecting the 2 tips, you can find it easily by it's the divot, it's the kissing circles on the inside round, right? And then you're drawing a nice sharp line through that diamond, connecting the 2 points. And you're doing it 6 times. Top secret, can't go telling anybody about this. Somebody will come find you.
So we're doing like the red lines then?
Do the red lines. Yep.
Okay, so, okay.
Do you want me to come back to the one without it here?
No, I think I've got it now.
Got it? Okay,
Yeah,
great.
I just,
It takes a minute because there's so many lines, it's all jumbled. But we're finding the pattern in here. You'll see it'll reveal itself. It's just super fun.
I put in the dot, and so
Which dot?
the dot at the bottom of the triangle thing, because
Right.
sometimes those dots get to be important.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Exactly.
intersection points, it's like, okay.
They do. It's the intersection points. And you know, that's learning that technique of finding the intersection points is just, it's what all of geometry steps are, is finding the intersection points and then going from there, or making those, you know, making those little hash marks, and that sets you up for the next step. All right.
Oh, you know what? I didn't do it in my colored pencil.
Oh, Greta.
Yeah.
There you go. You got to do that. That's what you got.
I know.
Yeah. Otherwise, otherwise it won't show up.
You can keep going. I'll just go over them. I haven't done. I just have to.
Okay. All right, you got them. Looks like everybody's got them. We're all on board. All right. Let's here we go. Okay. Now don't draw anything here. I'm highlighting the points that we're going to do on the next step, right? So here's this crisscross, right? And we want 3 of them. We want the top crisscross. We want they're all 6, right? But we want the top, it's like the triangle, top, bottom right, bottom left, right? That's what we're doing. We're originating from those points, and it's going to look like this. You're using the same color. You're going to originate from those 3 points, and you're going to darken in the center lines, right? So you're stopping at those intersection points. Make sure you do that. And then you're coming into the center on those 3 axes, vertical, left, and right. And the stronger the lines are, the more the dodecahedron will pop. So feel into that, how you want to make it. And there's just so many lines. It's just outrageous to try and do this. All right. Starting at the highlighted points, that intersections up there. It looks like we're getting it. Sabby, how cold is it there in Portland? Looks like you got warm clothing on there.
Oh, so we didn't draw. We're not drawing the triangle. We're drawing the. Okay.
We're drawing the inner.
Okay.
Not the triangle, but the points are the same as the inner triangle, right? Just using
right. Yeah.
And there are 6 of them, so you want to pay attention to use these 3. Right. Zabby, is it cold? Is it warm? How's Portland looking these days?
It feels good. Today was really nice. There was like bursts of blue sky underneath or above the clouds, and this is organic cotton.
Oh yeah.
I just love it.
Yeah, it looks like a woodland creature worm thing. Yeah. Yeah, it was cold and windy here today, but it felt like fall. But we don't get the trees like you do. Like I miss the trees.
Yeah.
Cactus don't turn color. They're not as fun.
You'll have to come up here.
I'm coming back at some point soon. All right. Okay. Thumbs up. Looks like everybody's got it. Okay. I don't see any heads down. Looks good. Ben, you're still moving sideways. How's it going? Thumbs up. Okay. So now what are we doing? All right. Here, I'm going to show you, and then it's darkened in on the next slide. Now we're working with our back to our 6 points, right? So we're going to orient out there. And these lines that we're doing are already there. Right, I'll get to the next slide. Right, so we're using the 6 points, right? You're going to touch where the top of, you're going to touch the side. You're going to come in and darken these lines, like from the outside. Like if you start at the 2 top, like I have, right? You're going to take each downward angle and you're going to bring it into that highlighted point we saw last time. This is the origin point of that inner line, right? Just take a minute, just keep looking back and forth. Yeah, Ben?
Same color and all?
Same color the whole time. Yep, same color. Yep. Right. And you just keep on looking at it, go back and forth to it. You'll get it. Takes a minute, takes a breath. And if you miss a beat, that's fine too. We'll get back to it. But connecting the points of the inward points of those 6 lines that we drew. Right? And we're only doing it on the 3, right? The top and then the 2 bottoms, right? We're using that same design of focusing on those 3 shapes, because that's going to pop the pentagons. Somebody jumping in? Nope, we're good. All right. July is looking back. Oh, Greta, are you off mute? Yeah? You all set?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. How's it looking, July? Looking good? Okay, cool. All right, heads are nodding. Awesome. So here's the last step, and you can go back and find this however you can go back and color and sharpen however you want to darken it all in. But we're going to add these. We're going to darken in the outer boundary between those 6 lines that we drew originally, right? So this is a really sharp one. So you're darkening it. These lines are already there, right? Sorry, the black throws you off a little bit, but it's the 6. Is it 6? Is it 3? There you go. It's 6. So just these outer boundaries, right? We're just connecting all of the red, all of the diamond points, all of the original 6 lines that we drew. We're connecting them all by darkening the lines that already exist. They'll be guiding you. So you've got the top pentagons are facing away from us. Well, they're facing towards us, so they're at that interesting bias, and same on the bottom. And then you've got 3 pentagons that we can see. And then there's 6. Well, there's got to be 6 on the other side. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to pop out. We can all look at pentagons and see what time it is. Okay. All right, stepping back, looking. I'm going to leave it up for another second, and then we'll do a little show and tell around so it's that time. All right, I get to this point and I feel like I want some circles. So I'm going to pop out. Does anybody else need some? We need to see it for another minute. We got it. I want to do a little show and tell. All right, all set. Great. Let's see. What do you got? Let's just do a whole group share and just kind of hold it up for a second, take a peek at everybody's, but look at yours. Yeah. Look. All right. Well done. All right. We did it. Everybody got it. Oh my gosh. Well done. All right. What do you think? Anybody want to pop in with a reflection? Step by step. You got a 3rd-dimensional platonic solid that is the shape of ether. Leanne, are you all right? It just looked like you were, but how's it going? Oh, still on mute. There you go. Nope, nope. Okay. Anybody?
That was wonderful. It felt really good to be able to follow all the steps. Yeah, I love it.
Got it. Right on. Right on. July, how's it looking? Holding the perspective, right?
Oh, I was kind of wondering because mine ended up being a little different from yours.
Let me see.
I feel like because all of the okay.
Hang on. Okay.
feel like these ended up on the side, and in yours it was in here.
These yes, these, oh, I'm pointing on my cursor. Geez. Okay. So go to but you know what? It still works.
Yeah,
No,
that's why I'm confused.
you're just looking at it on a different bias.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just flipping it and then it looks definitely different, right? Because we're only using 3 of those intersection points. You got it. It's totally, yeah, you got it. Yeah. You're just tripping out on the dodecahedron. Oh, that's great. What do you think? It is the same. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the shape is just very special. I don't know what it means exactly, but I can just tell that it's just, there's something really special about it. So I will swear that.
Yeah, there's the cognitive understanding of it, and then there's the experiential, right? Of like, oh, that's just cool, you know? Yeah, awesome. What's that? Anybody else?
It was so cool. I started seeing it being revealed, and it was like so unfamiliar from last year. It's like totally new, and I started seeing the pentagon, I think it is, that is on the outside. I started seeing it before we got to the step. I was like, oh my god, I see it. It's so cool. Yeah, and I messed up a little. I put a line where I wasn't supposed to, but it's okay. It works.
Yeah, you still get it. Oh,
So
it's so
cool.
great. I love that it's totally different than whenever you did it in the past, right? It's a completely different experience.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. Ben, you were jumping in.
Yeah, I wanted to share that I appreciated the idea of attaching breath work to the artwork, right? With every line, take a breath, with every point, whatever. Yeah, I thought that was really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. It just takes the experience to a new place, right? It's a little more embodied because there is so much concentration in the mental. So just to be in both, right? Be in all the experiences. Very cool. Yeah. All right. Anybody else want to jump in before we do a little? I think we're going to do some circles.
I do want to say one last thing. When we were drawing the circles for at the very beginning, I realized that I was kind of jumping around, and it just feels much more harmonious to start at the top and go clockwise, like with everything. So I want to remember to do that as opposed to like going from here to there. And
yeah, that is a great point. I mean, I kind of repetitiously will do the clockwise, right? Because when you get into the flower of life, you will get so lost if you jump around. And it's super cool what you'll come up with jumping around. But I'm going to show you, we're going to do the basic flower of life, right? I'm going to show you that it's really 2 rings of circles and 1 large ring encompassing it. But in the PDFs, you're going to have the entire progression to do when you're home on your own. It is the flower of life looks like it would be simple. It's just a bunch of circles, but is almost the hardest geometry that there is. Oh, Leanne is testifying. It's, this is another one. I'm just going to keep coming back to Joy's insight about precision, right? When you slow down with the circles, you're far more likely to get the final shape. But we're going to do the seed. We'll do a second round, but the flower is a 3rd ring of circles and a 4th ring of circles. Like, it's really tremendous. So sometimes I can hear what you guys say, even though you're on mute. So let's just revisit the flower one more time, just for a little overview. And I think that there we are, the end. All right, and that show, and then I think it's right here. There we go. So flower of life, and we know this stuff. It's just good to go over it again and again to connect our consciousness with this universal pattern, right? Based in the seed. And you can see, we can't really see because you remember, we usually see it with that zona pellucida, that cell membrane that contains the information, right? So we're going to take that membrane off. We're going to invite taking that membrane off. We're not going to do the full flower today. It's too much. You're going to get the sense of it. And remembering that it's really everywhere in sacred sites, in temples, all around the world, you find it in association with kind of the highest expression of human consciousness, right? And then, of course, being connected and related to our cellular structure, the first moments of conception and bifurcation. So we are drawing ourselves, right? And this isn't anything, again, like our brains aren't going to register that, but our bodies actually do, right? What if our DNA and our cells were like jumping around and really happy that we are drawing this? Like, what if, there's a lot of practitioners of sacred geometry that believe that we're drawing in a way that can turn on latent DNA, all that junk DNA, right? So much of a fascinating conversation. Now, just to review, right, we are going to draw this first, oh boy, this gallery thing jumps around and is so annoying. We are going to draw this first iteration. You remember there's a bunch of different manifestations of the flower. And then I'm going to show you how to get the full expression, right? That is 64 spheres. That takes quite a while. And then I'll show you how to cut the full geometry off with that membrane so you can get all of the different iterations. All right. This is a super cool rendition of the, what we call one of the versions of the fruit of life, right? The 8 spheres packed together. If you want to make the flower, you put circles in the divot points of these spheres, right? That brings you up to that's your compass point. So you can sort of see the full flower in the background, but I love highlighting this version of the fruit of life, these 8 spheres. So here is the full expression, right? If we're talking about the spheres and the packing, and each one has a tetrahedral structure. There is a tetrahedron in the center of each circle. And what did I do next? Yes, there it is. So those tetrahedrons, right? You can see the one on the top, right? 4-sided pyramid. Those build what's called the 64-star tetrahedron. There are 64 tetrahedral structures in here. So you've got the flower of life, you've got the seed, which is this round spherical, I'm going to say formation. What do I want? Foundation. But then it's got these bones, right? That is the 64-star tetrahedron. I think in the next series, we draw this one, and it's just, we draw a 2D version of it and we draw a 3D version of it. If I remember at the end of the class, I'll show the 3D one that's all green, that is the shading that I wanted to show for the shading. So you've got all of these tetrahedrons. Now I'm going into the bones to just remind you of how much is going on when we're drawing the seed, right? And the flower. So it's both the male and the female. You've got all of these star tetrahedrons. So this is very Merkaba-esque, right? We're turning on all of these light body geometries on multiple levels. This is a piece I did. This is actually in New Renaissance. This one might actually not be there still, but all of my art was up in New Ren for a while. So there was a while where I just geeked out so hard on this shape because it is so much fun. And this is an inverted, this is 2 64s inverted on top of each other. So you get both structures, and then you get the star tetrahedron in the center. And all of the, how long are we doing? Okay, great. So 64 tetrahedrons, right? Well, also 64, where is it? 64 codons in the DNA, right? 64 hexagrams in the I Ching. This geometry is just fundamentally woven into our cosmology and our understanding of life, such as as in the DNA as well. So all of the ways, right? We feel the geometry, we draw the geometry, and then we start to connect the dots about what's the larger implication for what does this geometric structure connect to in our interpretation of reality, right? So many times 64 is used in our fundamental understanding of things. And this is the 3D version of it. We just saw the 2D version of it, and we draw the 2D and then we draw the 3D, which is really, really fun. Did I skip over one more slide? No, just see, this is the interconnectivity of the hexagrams and the astrology, like just layer after layer of interconnectedness. The DNA, the I Ching, starting to, this is the way, the way these building blocks of amino acids and RNA and DNA composite together to build our known universe and, you know, invisible worlds. We are drawing a geometry that is that significant, right? And it's as significant to interpreting, you know, our physical, our emotional, our spiritual, right? This touches all aspects of life, just like the I Ching. If you haven't looked in the I Ching, I highly recommend it. It's an incredible tool for understanding the universe. And then this is, right, we saw the star tetrahedron. This is embedded in the 64 star tetrahedron. And this comes apart. I'm going to name this because we're going to draw it next week. This comes apart to form a shape that is called the vector equilibrium, right? This is an incredible shape. It's the only shape in the universe that has equal proportioned line. I'm going to drop the mic after that, right? We're going to look at that next time. And it's really incredible. This is the structure of space-time, that point of singularity right there. All this is to say, I'm going to come out of screen share because it's just like so much information. I'm dropping all of this so that you just get the backstory of the seed of life, of the flower of life, of the fundamental structure that you're drawing, right? We are turning everything on that we have. And I think we're just going to get right into the flower of life. But all of this is the backstory, super fast. I'll revisit the vector equilibrium next week. Don't worry. I just love to hint at that incredible shape. Let me see where we're at. Don't want to go too far in that cuboctahedron. Well, I went all the way. So you're going to see all these next week. So flower of life, I do like to show some of the iterations that are so cool. You know, get your ideas flowing for different art forms that you could do. You can see the flower of life back in the background there. And then again, this is an infinitely repeating pattern, right? So you can make this spherical in 3D. You can, you know, keep the pattern going for the entire page and just, this is a wonderful artist. Her name is Crystallized, and you can just choose to highlight different formations. You know, she's got all of them in there. Again, filling the page, choosing which colors. This is where I do not have the patience, right? Is to draw something like this and lock into a pattern. But just amazing art, giving you some ideas for, you know, finding the patterns, shaking it up, making them different, and then of course going as far out as you want to go. A little psychedelic on that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through this, and then we'll draw the seed and the flower together. But I'm going to show you the whole thing. You will have this PDF, and then you can go home and practice doing it more if you want. So we're starting with the seed, right? And we'll do that together, but put it on pause for a second. Then we're going to do the second round, right? And it's really the same pattern. We're just going to be building circles on circles. So I'm going to guide you through that. Then we're going to open up the compass, and we're going to put a ring around the circles. We're going to put 2 rings, and that's really the simple manifestation of it, right? So if you want to go back and expand, however, you go back to this phase, and you don't put a ring around it, right? You just stay here, and then you go into the next ring, right? It's the same step again and again, only you're doing another ring of circles. But as complex and as beautiful as this is, we're going to do another ring of circles, right? It's just infinitely powerful. And what I'm going to say is, Joy, I'm going to shout out to you again, right? Precision matters in this one, because if you have any imperfections in the inner seed, it's going to get amplified by the time you get to the 4th round, right? This one actually looks pretty tight, but yeah, just keep an eye on that. Then what you want to do is, the way you're going to find the ring now is by, you don't have to darken them as much as this image, but you're going to just shade these 7 circles, right? Because this is how you find the 3 different axes, right? You have the vertical, again, same orientation, vertical axis. And then there's 3 circles on the diagonal left and 3 circles on the diagonal right. I know I'm talking fast. You'll get the PDF. I'm just walking you through it, and then we'll draw the flower to round off the class. But then you're going to create that circle around those 7 circles, right? It's hard to see in here, but this is a boundary that encloses those 7 circles. And here's the part where you're never emotionally prepared for. You're going to erase the outside. It always sucks. It is so strange to invest so much time and then erase it. So I just want to prepare you for that. And then you can draw a second circle to give that full membrane. And then the closer you look at this, the easier it gets. Kind of hard to tell on the screen right now. But you're going to erase these outer bits, right? You go back here. And the hexagon on the inside, it's just these little tails on the, between the membrane and the boundary. You're going to erase those, and then you'll get your full expression of the flower of life, right? Well, the full flower of life that's enclosed in the membrane. Lots of different steps, lots of complexity, very doable. Make yourself a cup of tea, sit down, give yourself that time. And we're going to go back and we're going to just draw that first iteration, and we'll end on some beautiful circles. So if you all want to start with the seed, what we're going to do is imagine that you could actually finish this on this piece of paper. So your measurement, in order to stay on the page, is going to be that 1 inch radius. Same measurement as before. But measuring to the center is a good idea, because this shape will expand to the top and the bottom on the vertical axis, right? So measuring 5.5 to the center, and then keeping the compass width the same. And let's just transition from all of that information with a nice deep breath somewhere while you're drawing or before you draw. It's so much, and it's really just an overview, and you can slow down with it at your own pace. And I've found the reason I'm doing this quick overview is because I found that it's too much to actually try to draw it all in a class. Even in a 2 hours, it gets really concentrated. This is one you want to be able to slow down for. And to do this in a class together this is the shape that took the biggest hit by doing it online. I used to be able to bounce around and see where someone got lost, and I can't do it anymore. And it's hard to find if someone gets off track. And usually we get off track. So just breathing, take a moment to look at this blank piece of paper, and who knows what the beautiful art that's going to come from this is going to look like. And when you're ready, drawing that first seed, launching into this shape. And you guys, you have this in your wheelhouse now, right? So first circle goes in the center of the page, right? You don't need the line on the vertical. You're just going to make that point at the center of the page, and then you're drawing your first seed, right? Yeah.
Nadia, are we doing 1 inch again? Is that where
oh, how come I can't hear you? Did I mute that? Okay. Here you go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I certainly can.
There you go. Okay.
Are we looking at the 1 inch on the compass again?
1 inch on the compass hasn't changed. Yep, seed of life's going to be 1 inch radius, 2 inch diameter. Yep, same measurement. And we're just going to start in the center of the page. And given that your seed of life, and when you've got that, let's pause together. So much happening. Let's have these guys. Put that up just so we've all got it. Go. Center of the circle. And again, as much attention to precision, right? This slowing down, seeing if you can really line up the points. Right? How when you draw the second circle, it overlaps with the center of the circle, and same. You keep coming back to the center, right? Keep revisiting that. And you might want to darken in that center circle, because we're all professionals at this point, but you're really gonna want to stay oriented around that center circle. And before you go on, let's pause together and take a breath before we launch into the unfamiliar of the geometry. Letting yourself sink into the surface of the chair or the couch, just dropping in, kind of integrating everything we've done. And if you'd like to connect to some kind of intention, maybe something you're building bigger in your life, you could just feel into that, right? Perhaps invite this geometry to contain and reflect that intention, right? Because as we build it into this shape, the next time we look at the shape, it'll reflect it back to us. It'll remind us of that intention. So there's so much ability here, so much potential. All right. So we're going to do, yeah, Ben, going. Oh, nope. All right. How's that? Okay. So we've got the seed. Now, I don't remember who it was, but I think it was Carol. It was somebody who jumped around, or no, it was somebody here. Who was it? July? Was it you? I think it was you. Where right now, this one, dedication to clockwise progression, like absolutely, because even when it'll be doable on this first ring, but as you get around, it is so easy to lose your way. It's just, it does. And what I want to encourage is don't stop and look at it. Just start going around. And when you finish at the bottom point, right? Start at the bottom, finish at the bottom, and then you'll stay on track. All right. And I don't have it step by step. Just choose wherever you want to start. Choose whichever indentation point. Maybe start down here on the bottom left. That's a nice way to anchor it. Pencil point goes at that intersection. You give it the next circle, and then where that circle intersects with the pre-existing circle is where you put your compass point. You're following, it's a circle, and that'll make an intersection point. Compass goes there, circle will make an intersection point. That's how you're doing it. You're just drawing the same circle, the same pattern again and again, just like the seed, staying on direct relationship with that center, right? Because it's easy to go off. Maybe we have time to do 3 rings. It's really.
To confirm, you said to place the pencil at the intersection.
I'm sorry, did I flip it? Compass point goes at the intersection. Yeah, that the Metatron's cube step. Yeah, we're done with that. This is compass point. Yep, I'm a little fried. It's talking for 2 hours. I might do something like that. It's true. Thank you for clarifying. Compass point goes at the intersection of the circle you make with the previous pre-existing circle that it's crossing over. And did I do this last time? Let me grab, ouch. Oh my Lord. I think I'm either getting older or I'm not doing enough yoga. So let me I'm going to pop out and everybody give this a look for a second. In terms of precision, right? We're drawing up here, right? We're using this technique up here. And then you can do the option of picking the compass up, putting it down where the intersection is. But I really encourage you to do your circle, pick it up, put it down, do it again, right? You're going to get so much more precision. And there's a meditative pattern when you do that. You just go circle, pick it up, put it down, circle, pick it up, put it down. And it's the repetition, right? It's just like a mandala where it's the same, we're going around in the same way. And July, I think it was you, right? That the awareness of it's just such a different energy when you bounce around, right? So same with the mandala, just keeping that pattern here. I'll put it back up for you so that it looks like that's what we're going for. All right, so we've got the center circle, a ring of 6, and then this is a ring of, is it another, I think it's 13. So it's 12. Right, 12
Can you go back a
circles.
slide for just a moment, please?
Yes, absolutely. There you go.
Thanks.
Are you anywhere in particular that are you on track? Or are you good?
Yeah, I got sidelined on a distraction and then I got this far. And so I'm
back on track.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And I could do single circle, but the whole step is the same. Once you get the idea, it's just one circle after another with the pattern. And I like to do this one after the Metatron's cube because that's so many lines, right? So just like, oh, does it feel different? We're doing circles now. We did a bunch of lines. Like, where's your system? Is it a little bit more relaxed? It's a little bit more like, oh, this is harder, usually we're drawn to one or the other. And sometimes that's a reflection of, you know, where on the spectrum we fall in our gender or which hemisphere of the brain we're more aligned with, right? There's so much. I keep saying how much is in there.
So
All right, yep.
once we get to the 7 dark circles, that's when we open the compass and draw the 2 circles around and then start all the erasing.
Yeah, you don't have to do the 7 circles here because we have the clear external points, right? We don't have to highlight them on this one. It's only when you start getting more circles that you use those 7 points to find the inner ring, right? But here you can just open your compass from the center point to the outer, you know, to the perimeter, basically to the outer point on the vertical axis, right? And that's going to give you the width to just create the outer circle, right? What I like to do is put the compass down, put the compass point down, and then I'll take the pencil point and I kind of touch it around to the different external points, right? I'll touch the 6 different circle, the extension, right? The hexagon points. And then I'll fudge the compass a little bit, or I'll move the compass point to get the circle touching as close as it can, all 6 points, so that it looks fairly aligned, right? But it's really unusual for it to align perfectly with all 6 points, right? And then once you've got that, yeah.
So I just
hang on, wait, let me keep up with you. All right, you went all the way.
I was a bit of an overachiever, so
great.
I have my dark circles and I have another, you know, kind of line between.
Yeah.
So open it up. Do I do it at the edge of those dark circles?
That is tripping me out. It looks really 3D. Maybe it's that you're moving it, but wow, that's really weird. I don't mean to overuse the word trip. Yeah, open up it's the exact same step. It just looks different, right? It's here. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, I mean, I know I have to open it up.
There you go.
Okay.
Same step, and then that's gonna give you the circle.
Outside of the circle.
Exactly, outside of the circles. Yep.
Okay.
But we have that. If you look at what we're doing here, we have those the 3 independent circles standing. I haven't highlighted them here because you don't have anything past this point confusing it, but we have we have the exact same pattern right here.
Okay.
It's just easier to find. So putting your compass point at the center, opening it up to the outer perimeter, and then what'll happen, and what I love that you're demonstrating, Greta, is these are 4 rings, right? And you can do 3 rings, right? You have 1 extra set outside of this. And that's going to give you a similar pattern, but what you're going to not have is you're not going to have one of these lines, right? You're going to have, there'll be a couple petals that are missing for you. And that's not, I think it's this outer boundary, but that's what you get when you get the 4th ring, right? So yours will look a little bit different. It's another iteration of the flower of life.
Do I keep going and do another ring?
You can keep going and do another ring, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like name your game, you know, however many circle rings you want to do. But right now we're all going to stop at this one, and we're going to draw 2 lines around it because I have learned, so this is what we're doing. I have learned that it feels, it's much more of a successful pattern to do it this way, and then invite you all to go on to however many rings that you want, because it's really complex. It's a really complex shape. So I've figured it out over the years to stop. Do you want me to put it back up? Here we go. All right. Did everybody get to the point of compass at the center and then opening up? All right. And we've got the double ring, 2 rings making a membrane. And there's, like, as you can see, if there's 4 different iterations to this, obviously you can just do whatever you want to do. If you're feeling like right now, if you're feeling like Greta and you just keep going with the circles, don't let me stop you, right? I just want to, like, pause and check in with everybody. So I'll do that. Is everybody going on to the next ring of circles? Because that's awesome. We
I'm
got a
not
couple.
going to.
Yeah, all right. Greta's, you got four circles, right? You must be super practiced at this point.
Can
Where's
you take a
everybody at?
look at mine? I'm
Yeah.
a little confused.
All right, let's see it.
When you
Okay,
see.
pull it back a little bit. Yep, a little bit more. Pull it back a little bit more. All right, now tilt it towards the camera. Tilt the top towards the camera.
There you go.
Sort of. Perfect. Hey, don't move. Oh, all right. One. You've got 3 full rings. Now you could pause and do what Greta's doing is you could darken in the 7 kind of concentric circles, or you could go 1 more ring, whichever, but it's perfect. I'll just say that looks perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just spot on.
Okay.
Does it feel a little bit easier, a little bit more familiar?
Yes.
All right. All right, cool. Awesome. Okay. Is Kaori, how are you doing? How is it feeling? Do you want to jump in and say hi?
Good. I think I got the where I should
nice.
be.
Beautiful. Well done. How's it feel?
Thank you.
How's it feel?
Good. Feels
Yeah?
good. When
Yep.
the lines connect perfectly, that's like, oh yay.
There's something really satisfying about that, right? Yeah. Well done jumping in after the first 2 classes. I can tell you gave it some practice and looked at things before you came on. So thank you. That's great. That's one of my favorite things is when they do line up and the compass crosses over. That's a deep level of satisfaction in my world. It looks like everybody's going on to at least draw the 3rd ring. So that's fabulous. Sometimes it gets really appealing and you don't want to stop. But I've had, if you end a class on a shape that's that maybe didn't go, like it's a little bit you didn't finish off the way you wanted the shape to look, right? I don't like to end the class that way. So I've stopped with that first iteration because you've got it, and then you can ignore that step entirely and just go on without the ring and just find your way, which looks like most of you are doing. I'm so excited. So we can all right, Leanne, did you bust that last ring out in that amount of time? Are you serious? Oh my God, with the whole circle. Beautiful. Oh, beautiful. That was, oh, so you opened it up and you did the big circle in that. Okay, because I thought, did you make a whole nother ring in that amount of time? Okay. Yeah. Lovely.
No, I decided just to finish it up, like you said, finish it up so I'm balanced at the end of class. So
nice. Well, that is it. Will you hold it up, because what you've done is yet another iteration of, it's just another version of how you can play with it, which is to put a full a boundary around the 3 full rings, right? And beautiful. Oh my God, I love it. Do you love it?
I do. I do.
Great. Okay. I'm going to grab one of my pieces. I'll be right back, and then we'll do a little check-in. Hang on. All right. So maybe we've got about 15 minutes left, so we'll pause. Maybe you can just pause where you're at, and we'll do a little check-in, and you can pause or you can keep going if you want, or no matter, it's your choice. So I mentioned, I think it was when Carol was here, I can't draw them in the way I do my art. Like this is the Shri, this is the Shri yantra, and the way that's made is I did the blue and yellow background on foam core insulation, like 4 2x2s, and then the Shri is drawn on 2 yoga mats taped together, and then I drew it and then cut it out because I just can't color things in, and so all of my art looked like this, and this is similar, Leanne, to what you did, only a little bit different. This is one, sorry, I can't do that right. This is, it's similar. There's 4 rings in here. I think you've got the 3, but it's the same kind of pattern. So this is on the gold piece of paper, these are cut out with an X-Acto knife. I used to love to do that. And then there's a black background behind it. But my fingers got tired. It's really a lot to use an X-Acto knife for a bunch of years with a bunch of geometries. So that was one phase of my life. So let's see. If you can find a pause point, maybe complete a circle so that you're not mid-circle, because it can get confusing. Can we hear from everybody about your process? Maybe show us where you're at. Let us know what you're doing and how it went. If I asked you already, it's no problem. But also, everyone, I'd love to hear some closing thoughts. All right, Greta's jumping. Okay, let me see, Greta, hang on a second. Do you want to unmute yourself though, so you can, oh, she's got the color going already. She's got a purple membrane.
Well, I put a purple around it just because, and then I took this line out and then I put it back in because it's like I needed to. And so, yeah,
I see.
I didn't keep going, but
yeah, but it gives it a nice completed boundary. I see.
Yeah, it was completion. So
yeah,
that was good. Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
And you can see the only thing missing in that version, right, is that the outer boundary. Oopsies. This piece, right? You have the right, that 4th ring gives you that full hexagon boundary, but the 3rd ring still has a boundary. It's just different, right?
So one more ring would be what I need.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll send you guys the PDF. The Zoom recording takes about a half an hour, so then I lump it all together. So in about an hour, I'll send that to you.
You also include that deck that you use?
Which deck? Sorry.
The slideshow that you were showing us a moment ago.
I don't usually send the PDF. It's a really large file, but if there's a
okay.
slide or 2 that you'd like, I can totally send it.
Yeah, I was loving the Dodecahedron, whatever.
The Dodecahedron, the first one?
No, the cubahedron, whatever it was.
Oh, the vector equilibrium and the cube octahedron.
Cuboctahedron.
Yeah.
One, yes.
Yeah.
That one was very interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. We'll spend some more time on that next week. We're going to do the phi ratio and the vector equilibrium. So I can send you 1 or 2, or you'll see them again next week, whatever okay, great. What do you think about this? What are we doing right now? Flower. Ben, do you have a couple of thoughts? How's it going with this?
I'm not where I wanted to be with it. I started working on I originally set my my compass to a 2-inch circle, and then I thought, oh, I'll just keep going, and I kept working with that, and then I got more frustrated with that, so then I abandoned that and restarted as 1, and I'm not as far along.
Oh, well, okay. Would you like to, do you want to, even no matter how far along, it's such a different feeling with the circles than the dodecahedron, right? See, oh, super cool, yo. Aha, you can do anything with these, man. That is so great. So great. Yeah. What's an adjective? How would you describe?
And this was the 2-inch circle one that I was working on.
But that's just so cool, isn't it? Yeah. So you didn't like it as well. You can't fill the whole page with the pattern. So I can get that part, but it's just a completely different experience. Yeah. Thumbs up. Yep. It's going all right. Good. Closing word there, Ben. I feel like, do you got anything like to round it up? How you feeling?
I'm good.
Good.
This is fun.
Good. Okay. Good. It's not torture. I do I go to a recovery center every couple of weeks, and we do geometry there, right? Because it's just a creative art healing thing. And I have this, they're in all phases of like active withdrawal or detox or anything like it. They could show up, and because I have my decade of mental health work, I can roll with a lot of it versus someone coming in just to draw. And this one woman, she was just in bad shape, and she sat down and she looked at what we were going to do with the compass. And she goes, "This is my worst nightmare." And I was just like, oh man, it's going to be okay. Just hang in there. So I'm glad it's going good. All right. Who else? Let's just have closing thoughts from everyone if you want to. Yeah, July.
Show some things. So I ended up stopping where you mentioned to stop, right? It would have been too much for me to continue on. Tired. So I stopped where you stopped, but I did something fun. So because I was wondering how you calculated the second ring, because I understood the first. The second one, it seemed like it could just be arbitrary. So I just chose the number 3. I love the number 3. So I ended up going outward like,
oh wow, that is magnificent.
So the very cool part is that, so they're all 3 millimeters apart, and the cool part is I counted them and there's 9 of them.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of perfect. And then also the compass at the last one, it reached its full length, so that was like very perfect. So that was a nice experience.
Super cool. Yeah, more symmetry, more alignment. There's some magic going on in there, right? There's some harmonics playing out for sure. Very cool. One of the ways that we get into a 9-fold geometry, you can get into a 9-sided polygon through a 6-sided flower of life. So you're tapping into the 9, the connection of 3, 6, and 9, and it's really, really powerful. But that is so cool. I've never seen anyone do that before. Very nice. All right, thank you. All right, let's see, we got a couple more. Joy, did you hang in there for all of it when you said you were just going to watch? How's it going? Still on mute though, you got off mute. I know.
I did hang in there, and I get confused with those circles, but I'm okay. It's hard to check out that you're at the right place. You know what?
It is. Yes.
So, but I'm getting it more now.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. It's such a strange thing to say, but I mean it when I say don't stop and look at where you're at. Like, don't step back and look at the pattern, because it builds to the right. And so when you look at it, it just looks off if you start at the bottom and you cycle back to the bottom, that's the only way you'll keep on keeping on, because it's so easy to get lost. And, at least we get to do the shape, but this is the one, this is the hardest, where I can't bop around and say, oh yeah, right here, a circle goes right here, It's so great that you started off the class going like, I'm just going to watch. It's great. And you did the dodecahedron, and you're all in with this. So it's beautiful. Yeah. Well done. Well done. All right. Beautiful. Let's see who we got. Who else wants to say a little something? Yeah. Some of you. And even if I jumped in and said, hey, how are you doing? Just how about if we just hear from everybody? Yeah. Zabby.
So I kind of got lost because I had to get up and go to the bathroom, and then when I got back, we were all like, so I didn't do any of like
it's so light. Where is it?
It's so light. Oh,
it's so light. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Come on up close. That's how we can see it. Oh, you got a ghost flower there. Wow.
Yeah, it's so weird. I went
Yeah.
super late this time because I wanted to go back and erase, but then when I got back from the bathroom, I was totally lost, and I was like, all right. Well, so that was the second one I did. The first one kind of came out like that.
Oh, look at your writing all light. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So you got some layers there too. So
yeah.
what do you, let's take the most dominant feature there. What do you think about drawing so light? What's the energy on that?
I like it because I can barely see it, but if I go back and I decide that I want to erase to put colored pencil over it, I think it's going to make those indentations that I couldn't get rid of in the last drawing. So we'll see. I just don't want any indentations.
Yeah. Right. So there's like next level skill set, right? You're planning for the future. This is what we talked about. Maybe I talked about other class, like just light enough to travel, right? Light enough to have the guidelines, but a little more flexibility with the shape you want to make. And that's what I take from what you're doing is you're leaving a lot of flexibility. Flexibility in life. Yeah, a lot of flexibility with wherever you want to go. It's a great idea.
Nice. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Abby. Joni, how are you feeling? Any better than when we started? A little lighter, just a notch or two. How are you doing?
Definitely better.
Cool.
This experiment was fascinating. First of all, learn your compass, and I kept changing its distance apparently. So I started 3 different times, and so I got behind from your drawings, which is fine because as I got through, I just started spinning circles and just letting it go, and it is definitely obvious that I let it go.
Will you come off of blur?
Yeah, let me take the blur off, and then it's a little. Well, it's cattywampus. The thing is, it's fraught. It's just littered with error and imprecision. But I decided to continue to go just to see what happens, and it goes all over the place.
Oh, but it's that is not fraught with. Though I see what you're saying, but it really isn't that far off.
It's funny, and so then I kept trying to correct it to make it symmetrical or hexagonal or something.
Yeah. All you need, I can tell you, all you need to make it symmetrical and perfect is, okay, so as you're facing me, the 4 o'clock and the 8 o'clock, right? You've got those 2 lower points, like if we're doing a clock at 9 and 3. 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock, all you need to do is add another layer pointing down. You need like a V, you need one more layer and then it'll be completely complete. Does that make sense where they need to go?
I think so. I mean, so I highlighted the center to start with just so I could show my imbalance for myself and for the camera. But
I think
actually
you might have them all. You might have them all. I see it on
the inner daisies is what I like to call them.
Inner daisies,
get those aligned.
But this is incredible for the effort. I mean, really nicely done. Nicely done.
The ketchup, the part that I liked the best was that my pencil, first of all, the pencil on the compass is getting too thick.
Yeah.
And so the lines are getting, so the imprecision is blurred by those thick lines, which is pretty okay. So I just let it go and just, that was good for me.
You know, I think you actually might have all of them. It's just a little mushed up from the bottom. I think that, can I see that one more time? Because I want to make a point. I'm going to use you as an
example. I'm going to show it from the perspective. I showed it upside down. This is the perspective I think from which I drew.
Okay. Yeah. Now, what I want to share, and this is so cool, and I can see it in other people's as well. So if we take a solid bisecting line, like on your diagonal, like right on the diagonal that points up towards your head and then down towards your left hand. So on that diagonal, you can see that the bottom half of that shape is a little tighter and the top half of your shape is a little larger and looser, right? Do you see that, the demarcation through the shape a little bit? Yeah. All right. So everybody, go ahead. I'm going to thank you for using, I think, using yourself as an example. Look at whatever pattern you have, wherever you stopped. Usually the pattern, you can split it in half and one half will look organized and the other half will look more organized, right? I like to believe that those are the hemispheres of our brain because this is inevitable. It always shows up where one side looks different than the other if you bisect the shape. Oh my God, so many animals. So that's a really fun thing. And anybody else want to share that didn't share? Anybody got any last bits? Yeah. All right. Did we hear? So Kaori, I think I called on a bunch of people and said, hey, how are you doing? But anybody have any last thoughts? Kaori, how is it feeling on the whole? It's good?
Yeah, good. I just want to make tea and do it on my own, redo it.
Make tea.
I think great. To begin with, as I went on, like this side, the pencil side got shorter, so it's not level. So that made the circle a bit different sizes, and then eventually, like a slight, shift in like proportion, and then so yeah, I need to take time and do it right.
Yeah, it's so much about getting used to it, and you can just sharpen that little round, the little wheel down at the bottom to keep the pencil in tighter. Yeah, I know it's really, all of them slip and open in one way or another, so just getting that familiarity, it's nicely done. All right, last thoughts, we're at the hour. I will send the Zoom recording. I'll give it a minute, and then and I'll send the PDF. I'll probably throw in a cuboctahedron just for kicks. And then, there was something else. I was going to share the link to that video of the dodecahedrons lining all up. All right. I want to thank you all so much. It is so enjoyable to spend an evening drawing with everyone and supporting your creative process. And I do hope you're able to get to drawing during the week, but I also think it's amazing that we all showed up for this. So thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful week. I guess that's it. All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.